you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O's, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O's, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. The Eye Test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy.
The Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche. And after 22 years, Raymond
The sickest NHL podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Eye Test here in the Sick Podcast Network. I am Jimmy Murphy. My co-host Pierre McGuire, not with us again today. He is traveling, I think, as we speak. Oh no, he's already at the airport. He's taking a red eye home tonight, I think. So he was taking a bus from Belfast to Dublin, and he could be already en route from Dublin to Atlanta, and then from Atlanta down to Savannah, and then driving to South Carolina. The guy is a traveling Wilbury. I don't know what to tell you. He's a machine. I think he maybe got 3 hours of sleep the whole week, but he's been kicking you-know-what for the guys over there, for the Belfast Giants and everything he does there, and then, of course, for the Eye Test as well. So appreciate his hard work. He will be back with us. We will not be on tomorrow. Day off since Pierre's got all the traveling going on, a breather for him. I've got Halloween duties with my daughter. Looking forward to that. So day off tomorrow, and we will be back Monday. But today, we've got a good show in store for you still, even without Pierre. We've got Eric Francis, covers the Calgary Flames for a long time for Sportsnet. He will be joining me in about 10 minutes here to talk about the Calgary Flames. We'll talk about the Nazem Kadri rumors, maybe get into the latest on Rasmus Andersson. Notice everybody's talking about Kadri right now, and we've kind of forgotten that Rasmus Andersson's on the block as well. So maybe we can get some inside track on what's going on with him and all things Calgary Flames as Eric Francis joins us. One game last night. I mean, really not much to talk about except that should we be worried about the Toronto Maple Leafs? Like, what's going on? I mean, at what point do we push the panic button for the Toronto Maple Leafs, who got absolutely shellacked by the Columbus Blue Jackets? And I don't want to take away from Columbus either. They're playing some good hockey. We've seen how much firepower they have up front. Their depth guys, specifically Sillinger, Coyle, and Olivier, got going last night. But there's just something missing there. Got to figure it out. So I know people in Toronto really don't care. It's a good time for them to kind of suck and fly under the radar, because how about those Toronto Blue Jays? One win away from the World Series. They can clinch it tomorrow night. So good luck to them. But yeah, good time for the Maple Leafs to get off to a bad start. Lots of games on deck, though, again tonight. I'm going to be giving you my picks later on for Betway. Got some interesting ones. One thing I do want to talk about, too, three items before we get to Eric. I want to start off with Martin Necas, and we'll touch on this a bit with Eric, too. Martin Necas signing a deal with the Colorado Avalanche, signs an extension, 8 years, $92 million. It's an 11.5 cap hit per season. I mean, is there going to be anyone left on the UFA market come July 1st, 2026? I mean, they're just all falling like flies here. It's unreal. I mean, what do we got left now in terms of big names? Would Kempe be at the top right now? I mean, off the top of my head, that's the one big name I can think of. If you can think of somebody else, well, Rasmus Andersson, obviously, if he reaches market, would be a big signing. But I mean, in terms of the big guns up front, they're falling like crazy here. I mean, congratulations to Necas. I think that's a good signing for the Avalanche. A lot of people are complaining, saying, the Avalanche fans, I see you saying, well, how could you just keep Necas basically over Rantanen? Like, you basically just gave Necas almost the same money that Rantanen signed for with Dallas. But I don't know. Like, I think Necas is a good fit there. Maybe it was just time to move on for Rantanen there, right? I mean, Rantanen's 29, and how old is Martin Necas? Let's see. I think he's right below him. Yeah, so he's 26. Oh, so he's 3 years. So he's younger. So you're getting what you think you would have gotten Rantanen, but he's 3 years younger. So I get it. I mean, these deals are going. They're all 8 years. I think they made the right move. A lot of people may disagree with me. I think they made the right move. So they lock up Martin Necas there. The other thing, Mathew Barzal is benched. Healthy scratch tonight because he was late for the morning skate. Well, he was late. They had meetings before. He was late today. And Patrick Waugh has made him a healthy scratch. For those slamming Patrick Waugh right now, calling him an idiot, saying he doesn't know what he's doing, I got a pretty good feeling considering last year when Matthew Darche was part of the Tampa Bay organization. If you recall, Braden Point was benched, and it was a big brouhaha, right? And everybody was like, how can you do this? Something's going to happen with Cooper. Cooper's lost it. What's he doing? Or a point's going to get traded and all. Pump the brakes, everyone. Pump the brakes, okay? Just because a guy gets disciplined by the team doesn't mean he's going to get traded. It doesn't mean the coach is making a mistake or, people are saying, how can you bench Barzal when he's their best player? Nobody should be above accountability. When it comes to team standards, I don't care if you're Bobby Orr or you're Lyndon Byers. Nobody should be, God rest your soul, Lyndon Byers. Nobody should be above accountability when it comes to team standards and rules. Good on Patrick Roy for doing it. I think back to when I was covering the Bruins. I believe it was the 2011-2012 season. Claude Julien got a lot of flack because he benched Tyler Seguin for being late for the game day skate. Of course, Seguin tried to blame it on his alarm clock and said he forgot to, set his alarm. And Julien says, well, buddy, no excuse. We're an hour behind what you'd usually be on because we're on Central Time, not Eastern. So you can think about that one. But look, it's ridiculous. Like people are complaining about Patrick Roy right now. I think that came from above. I think this is part of what Mathew Darsh, the standard he's starting. But here's where I want to parlay this into. And I got destroyed by Islanders fans, and I expected it, and I don't care. But I was looking back, and now, am I saying that Don Sweeney should be excused from the 2015 draft and the mistakes he made and the picks he made when there was way better players available when he had 13, 14, and 15 in the first round? No. But as time goes on, I get he's got a ton of points. I get he's a highly skilled player. Okay? And I get that they made back-to-back conference finals. Okay? And, in the COVID year and the year after that. I understand all that. But have they won a cup with Mathew Barzal? Have they made it to a Stanley Cup final with Mathew Barzal? Has there been a lot of off-ice turmoil, a lot of controversy around Mathew Barzal? So the answers to the first two questions are no. The answers to the second two questions are yes. I talk to scouts and GMs and people a lot. I know people within the Islanders organization. I do not think Mathew Barzal, I think he's a great player to have, but I don't think he's the difference maker that gets you a Stanley Cup for the Islanders. And I think that's already been proven. And I also think that there's a little Trevor Zegras in him, so to speak. Tons of skill, but maybe sometimes the head gets a little too big and he thinks he's bigger than the team. That's just my take based on conversations I've had. And I just don't think he is the leader to get you to the promised land in Long Island. So something to ponder there as the Islanders season kind of goes spinning. And by the way, too, we'll get to it in our Betway picks. But the New York Islanders, suddenly, before they were a team that couldn't score and had stingy defense, they were always an under team. They're an over team now. They're like every game they're in is a seesaw battle. It's a different format. I guess it's because, with the system that Patrick's trying to introduce there, he's trying to create more offense, but I think they're forgetting a bit about their own end and not playing a 200-foot game as well. So we will get back to that. Like I said, I think, do we have our man? Yes, we do. Let's talk some Calgary Flames right now with my good friend Eric Francis from Sportsnet joining us right now. Eric, how are you, my friend?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm great. Are you in Ottawa?
I'm in Ottawa. Yeah, it's
nice hotel room.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's and the lighting's not exactly premium, but hey, it's a hotel room. We don't stay at the team's hotels. That's not a surprise
Yes,
to you.
I know. People think that all the time, right? That we have this luxurious life. I'm like, no, man, I'm going to Montreal next month. I'm at an Airbnb. So,
exactly. I mean, Marriott, I like the Marriott product. I'm happy with that, but it's not the Ritz. I'll tell you that.
yeah, I'm with you on that. But speaking of Ottawa, Eric, and I think for people that aren't familiar with it, they don't realize how far away the arena is from downtown. How psyched are people that in that market to start to hear that this new arena could come to fruition?
Oh man, like it's a joke how far out it is. It was, unbelievable. Someone thought that was a good idea, and over time we all realized those things don't work anymore. The whole build it and they will come idea, especially when it's 40 minutes outside. Like colleagues picking me up for the game tonight, and he says it's going to take an hour to get there. Like that's how do you how do you leave a downtown core of any city in the world and think that you can make people go an hour away for 41 nights a year? So yeah, no, people are excited. And listen, we just went through it in Calgary. It took a lot of years for that arena to come to fruition. It was about a 15, 16-year battle before they finally broke ground, and we're still a year and a half away from it breaking, from being finished.
Right.
So there's going to be a hell of a battle here. Look, this is the land of politics. This is our Washington, where nothing gets done easily. And so, everyone I've spoken to today who is all excited about it also prefaces it by going, man, it's going to take a lot of things to happen and a lot of hurdles to overcome. But they are pretty confident it's going to happen.
There's a lot of waste to clean up too. A lot of people outside of Ottawa don't understand what's underneath that land right now. They got to clean that out. So yeah, it's going to be a process. But quickly before we get into the team, the Flames, you referenced, you guys just went through it as well with the arena. What's the latest on that in terms of the timetable? Is it 2028 or
2027?
2027?
So we're a year and a half away from it being ready. From what I hear, it's on time, and who cares if it's on budget? That's nobody's concern, other than the people writing the checks. But we drive by it every day. It's a block away from the Saddle Dome. We see the progress being made, but it's impossible for a layman like myself to look at it and go, "Yeah, looks like it's on time." It's just a lot of concrete, a lot of rebar, and a lot of trucks.
What will happen to the old Saddle Dome? Will that go down, or will they keep it? Is there talk about that?
They're going to blow it up, and that'll be a day of tremendous mixed emotions. It means we've finally got the new arena. It'll be one of the best in the world, and that's cool. And I think a city as successful and quite frankly wealthy as Calgary deserves that. It's long overdue. But I still think the Saddle Dome is one of the best places in the league to watch a hockey game. And I know it doesn't have the bells and whistles. It doesn't have all the boxes that they need nowadays, all the revenue generators. But as a pure fan, if you're just going to watch a game, there still aren't many bad seats in that little rink, man. A lot of memories in there.
I love the old barns. I was, it's nice and it's good that what they've done now with the North Station around the TD Garden here. But man, just looking at that being a parking lot after all the memories that were in the building that once stood there for so long, like, you can't just leave this a parking lot. It's like the Joni Mitchell song, right? Tear down paradise and put up a parking lot. It was brutal. It was horrible. And I grew up going to that old garden. So, I always have a soft spot for it. But they have done a good job of making that a go-to destination around the rink now. And I'm sure they'll do that in Calgary.
Yeah, like it's in the same area as the current dome, but just that iconic saddle-shaped roof. They just don't seem to make buildings like that anymore. And hey, listen, that's part of why it's obsolete, needs to get knocked down, is because they built that saddle-shaped roof, and it wasn't built for the modern-day stages and load-bearing stages that are required for the big acts these days. It's literally unstable. So bad idea. Back to the drawing board.
All right. Speaking of unstable, would you call Nazem Kadri's status unstable in Calgary right now? Or is it overblown?
It's overblown. I wouldn't say it's unstable right now. Listen, the way the season's started and the way it's going, I would say all bets are off, and I guess anything could be on the table. But I can tell you right now, he's their best player. He's their best forward on a team that needs goals and offense. He's also really good with the youngsters. He's a great mentor to these youngsters, which I'm not sure a lot of people thought of when they thought of Nazem Kadri, but he's really assumed that leadership role. And, whether they're taking a step back this year and maybe trying to strip away some parts to get younger, he's the kind of guy that you want youngsters to learn from and be as competitive as. It'll still be a sexy topic for a long time because everybody, he would be an incredible addition to any team in the league who wants to bolster, say, second line center position. Like, it's what put the Avalanche over the top when they won the cup that year. Bingo. And so I understand it. And I think every team's made a phone call probably of late to say, hey, is he or isn't he available? I can tell you the answer right now is no, he's not. But again, all bets could potentially be off, if this season continues to kind of and like it, anyone will tell you, if the right offer is made, anyone's available.
Right.
And I do think he's that valuable a piece. And I think a $7 million cap hit for 3 more years right now is actually quite palatable for a top second line center, given the way that the salary cap's grown. So yeah, Is he in play right now as we speak? No, not in your life. Could he be? Anything's possible.
Yeah, and you factor in too, Eric, the strength of, well, you know, talking to amateur scouts, the strength of this upcoming draft.
Yeah.
You know, if we come down to the trade deadline and, you know, this season's a wash, you know, I mean, Craig Conroy could be looking and saying, I could potentially make some moves here and end up with 3 picks in a very strong draft in the first round if I do it right. So you're right. Anything can change. The other guy, before we get into the actual team, we heard his name a lot in the offseason. It's kind of quieted down. Rasmus Andersson.
Yeah.
He's the guy I feel that's more likely to move. I don't know if I'm wrong in that, Eric, but what's his status right now?
Oh, yeah, he's 100% moving. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, in the summertime, each team kind of offered up what they're looking for and what they're looking to pay, and they're millions, literally millions off every year. And it's also 2 ships passing in the night, you know, in terms of timing. You know, one guy's looking to sign a 7 or 8 year deal, and that would take him to what age, 37, 38. And the other franchise is looking to get younger. So it's not a fit in any way. So he loves it in Calgary. He's happy there. He's a leader there. He's not a distraction. But at some point soon, especially if things continue to deteriorate in Calgary this year, he'll be more and more at play. Listen, he was available all summer long for the right price. He's available today for the right price, and he's available at the trade deadline for the right price. But it probably will take the trade deadline for that price to keep going up and up to the point where the Flames are like, now we need to make the move.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a team and you could get him right now, I'd jump him, you know, like, because you're right. The price is just going to go up as we get to the deadline. All right, let's look at the team, Eric. And I came into the season with the Calgary Flames, still looking at them. And I didn't think they'd be this bad record-wise.
Yeah.
But I still was looking at it. Like, this is still a retool, reset, transition, whatever you want to call it. I loved the season they had last year. They surprised me. It was a great workmanlike effort there. And obviously Huska did a good enough job to get the extension. But like, people around the league seem a little more surprised, I think, than they should be at what's going on. And furthermore, if I'm a Flames fan, I'm upset, but I'm also thinking future, future, future. Don't let the present get you too down. Do you look at that way too?
100%. You know, to me, the season's over already. I mean, I hate, and it's not that unpopular a theory. I rolled it out, I think, about 8 games in. They'd lost 7 of their first 8, and I'm like, the season's over. You can't come back from this, and you're not going to make the playoffs. So what's plan B? And that's something that will be discussed amongst fans and even amongst management over the next little while. The team can't give up quite yet because mathematically they still got lots of room. Yeah. But this is probably what should have happened to the team last year, and what a lot of people predicted would have happened last year. It's the same personnel, basically, save for a few youngsters you've sprinkled in over the last 12 months. But yeah, it's this, because you are doing, I kind of termed the phrase the hybrid rebuild, 1 foot in for this year and 1 foot in for the future. And a lot of teams, not many teams have been able to pull it off. Dallas is one of the only teams I think that's kind of been able to do that without going rock bottom. But they certainly dropped a lot further than the Flames have. So we'll see. This year could be a real blessing. I actually see it as an opportunity for the Flames organization. Lean into this tough start. It's not what you wanted, but it's what you got. So now make the most of it. And I'm not saying tank. I don't believe anybody in the world should ever tank. No. You certainly can't tell players or coaches to tank. They're never going to do it. But you can go through the growing pains of having a ton of young guys in your lineup, make mistakes, lose every game 3-2, and everybody's happy in Calgary.
Yeah, and you wrote a great column, I think it was last week, how they should just adopt the Montreal plan.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Like, I mean, I think that's the ideal way to do it if you're in this situation. And you can. And another thing, too, like, I think you said something there, too, about, you know, last year should have been this year. It was smart if you look at it and you look at his offseason acquisitions. I give Craig Conroy a lot of credit, and ownership and everybody, for not being teased by last year and making a move that a contender should make, as opposed to a team that's really in a rebuild.
Yeah, they certainly weren't going to add at the deadline. I mean, they added Frost and Farabee midseason because they needed a center.
Yeah, and those are lateral moves, though, you know.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, with a bit of an eye on the future. But yeah, it wasn't, they weren't going to go out there and give away assets at the deadline by any stretch of the imagination. And they didn't really want to give away guys, because they also thought, you know what, we got to reward these guys. They did work hard enough to stay in a race against all odds. Nobody thought they could do it, and it would be pretty gutting. And what sort of message does it send if you're a general manager and you take away major pieces,
Right.
even though they're right on the doorstep? So I think that they handled themselves the right way. You know, they didn't do much in the offseason at all. They showed up at training camp this year, and I kept meaning to check if this has ever happened in NHL history, but like they didn't add a single skater. Like I'm not even exaggerating. They did not add a free agent this year. They didn't bring a single new defenseman or forward. The only new guy was Devin Cooley, the backup goalie, who's going to start tonight against Ottawa, and he'll get very few starts in the National Hockey League. So pretty, it was a real vote of confidence for the group last year that against all odds showed a ton of fight. They brought them all back together, and it hasn't worked so far. So, no, moving forward, you got to make changes. Yeah.
You bring up Cooley there too. That's been a topic Pierre and I have talked about a couple times here, as well as our great viewers in the comments section. Do you think maybe this season, depending on, if Cooley continues to struggle, do you think maybe they look into bringing in it doesn't matter how good he is, but a veteran guy that can sort of give Dustin a little more relief and also serve as a mentor?
Depends how this season goes. I don't think they feel that they need a mentor. They're all in on Dustin Wolf, and I don't think that that's a bad move, given his, what he's done over the last handful of years in minor pro and such. But they did acquire this Ivan Prosvetov Prosvetov in the summer to give Cooley I think they actually thought Prosvetov would be the backup this year and beat Cooley, but both had a terrible training camp. And they were more familiar with Cooley, so they kept him. Prosvetov is in the minors, and he's doing pretty well. So if he continues to do well, I wouldn't be surprised if he came up. But look, it's such a bit role on this team. Like if they remain in anywhere near a playoff spot, and that's their goal, Dustin Wolf's going to play 65 games. So it really is a minor role. It's an input. Whoever the backup is still has to win half their games, or else the team can't make the playoffs. Yeah, but. I don't think they're too worried about it, and they certainly aren't going to give up assets for a guy who's going to play, 15 games.
My final question to you is just, with Coronado lately and some of the other younger guys, and I wouldn't say they're falling in a doghouse or anything, but some guys have been watching from the top. My thing is, from afar, I look at it as just part of the growing process, but you're closer. What's been the situation with some of these young guys struggling and finding themselves watching from the press box?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll answer by just saying the coaching staff feels very strongly because this is a long-term build. In some ways, they want to put these guys into positions where they can succeed, as opposed to going through growing pains where they cost the team games, make egregious mistakes. Coronado was just sat for one game, and the fan base went wild. They were mad because he is probably their best goal scorer, and he will be moving forward. But they just thought he was trying a little too hard, working, just squeezing the stick a little tight, that old cliche. And he just needed to take a deep breath and watch from the press box. Yesterday, he didn't skate in one of the top four lines, so everyone thought he was going to be scratched again tonight. And then the fan base went nuts. He's playing tonight, so everybody can calm down. Zane Parek's going to miss the game tonight. He's got a bit of an ailment, and he's also struggled. He's a 19-year-old kid who should be in the American Hockey League, but the National Hockey League CBA does not allow him to play in the AHL. Next year he can, but not this year. So he's learning trial by fire, and it's not going very well, and they're worried about him losing his confidence. So expect to see him sit more and more as we go forward.
All right, there we go. Well, listen, Eric, appreciate you taking the time. Good luck in the traffic, and we'll catch you on down the line, all right?
Anytime, man. Let's talk anytime. Cheers. Thanks.
And if you're in Boston at all, let me know. We'll meet up. All right.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, Jerry. Cheers.
Sounds good. Eric Francis joining us here from Sportsnet. He does a great job covering the Flames there. I'm sure our good friend Randy Workman enjoyed that segment. All Flames talk here in the eye test. So yeah, I mean, with guys like Parikh and Coronado, like Eric said there, this is what we've been trying to tell fans out there. Just relax. It's part of growing. It's not the end of the world. I mean, like we stressed throughout that conversation, it's not like this season is going anywhere, right? So, like, if they feel like the kid's confidence getting crushed, what are you going to just leave him in there and destroy him? I think it's good. I'm telling you right now, I've had so many great conversations and some star players, I'm not going to name who, when they've been healthy scratches. And I end up sitting next to them sometimes in the press box. Sometimes I used to sit where the healthy scratches would sit for the visitors in TD Garden. And you can tell a lot about a player with the way they're handling that. Like if I see a guy that's just buried in his phone and texting people the whole time and not really paying attention to the game, I'm like, he's not getting back in for a while. And if he does, he's going to get traded eventually because he's not taking this assignment. It is an assignment. When you sit up top, they want you to see it from a different perspective and learn a lot from that. And, the game's going a lot slower. So maybe you can catch some things that you've been doing incorrectly on the ice. You can see it there because it goes a lot slower, obviously, up top. But then I talked to some guys who love it, embrace it. I've seen guys with notebooks taking notes, or they're on their iPad and they're in touch with like the assistant coaches, understanding what's going on and maybe how they can apply it when they get back in. So you can tell a lot by a player and how they handle that. And by all accounts, those young guys with the Flames handled it correctly. So good stuff there. All right, let's get to our wonderful sponsors, Vago Italian, where they combine old world classics and new Italian dishes for over 23 years. Private dining rooms for any occasion, open Monday to Saturday evenings and lunch from Tuesday to Friday. They are located at 1336 Green Avenue, Westmount neighborhood of Montreal. For reservations, call 514-846-1414. Again, 514-846-1414. I can't wait to get up there and try their food. I've been kind of studying the menu, scouting things. So I'm going to have like my top 3 choices ready to try when I get up to Montreal next month. So looking forward to that for sure. And of course, our other wonderful sponsors, Betway, where you can still go all the way with Betway. And if you join the action right now as a new member, you can do so with the QR code right in front of you if you're watching, or go to the members section on the website and fill out your details there. You can get up to $300 credit back on your first deposit. That is awesome. That is a nice gift for signing up and becoming a member with Betway. I haven't seen anything like that. I've seen good deals with other apps, but that's one of the best, if not the best, I've seen recently. So go there right now, fill out the membership form, and get that wonderful deal. Remember, you must be 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. Always bet responsibly, and the offer is not available in Ontario. All right, I'm going to post these picks. So in case you've missed them, they will be posted tonight before the 7 o'clock games start on my Twitter at Murphy's Law 74. I'm posting on, I screwed up. I didn't get it up this Tuesday, but I'm trying to do Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I'll do it every day here, but I'll post the picks I make here with more on Twitter at Murphy's Law 74. And then you can go by there, haunt me, tell me I stink. If my record's brutal, who knows, but we'll have fun with it. So here's what I got for tonight. I'm going to keep them. There's a lot. All right. But I'm going to keep them all separate picks because then, if you put them all in a parlay, you get one wrong, you're out. Now you'd probably get a lot of money for this parlay if you won, but I'm just going to give you separate ones. We're going to start with the New York Islanders at the Carolina Hurricanes. I like 2 things in that. Over. First period over, and the over. So that's over 1.5 in the first period, and then over 6.5 total in the game. And if you want to do something on the side and who's going to win, I would go Carolina puck line. They're still at plus value at plus 114. Remember, like we said, Mathew Barzal is not playing, and David Riddick is starting in net. This looks like a Carolina game all the way. So those are my picks on that game. Then I'm going to go to the game we just discussed there, the Ottawa Senators hosting the Calgary Flames. I like that game to go over as well, but I'm going to focus more on the first period. I think both teams come flying out of the gate. Give me the over 1.5. By the way, with the way Linus Ullmark is playing right now, go check his stats. He's way at the bottom in terms of goalie rankings. Keep riding the over in his starts until he comes up with a good performance again. So over 1.5 in the first period there. Dallas Stars are in Tampa Bay to take on the Lightning. The suddenly resurgent Tampa Bay Lightning had a brutal start, but over the last week, they've turned it around. They're playing better. Vasilevsky's playing better. If you're going to bet something, I like them to win, but I'm going to focus more on something in the first period where I think the Lightning shut the Stars down. Compliments to my friends over at the Ice Guys. 6 straight games the Dallas Stars have failed to score in the first period. 6 straight games. So give me the under 0.5 goals at plus 105 value for Dallas Stars in the first period. I'm saying they won't score in the first period. Then the Buffalo Sabres at the Boston Bruins. I like the Sabres to win this. I also like them to get over 3.5 goals. You can get that at plus 115 value. And then another one in that game. This is just a fun one. I don't know if you guys believe in the dad, first time dad bump when a player has a baby. Hampus Lindholm and his girlfriend had a baby daughter this morning. Hampus Lindholm will be in the lineup for the Boston Bruins. And I think Hampus Lindholm is going to score a goal at plus 850. So there's your fun player prop. Let's get to the Q&A. What do we got? CMOC hockey training. Well, we'll do it. Pierre's en route home from Dublin. So I'll take this. If you're Davidson, that's Kyle Davidson, do you hang on to the vets if they keep on competing for a playoff spot in Chicago? I do think a wild card spot is possible with the play of Spencer Knight especially. Would you add it all? CMOC, all right. Remember what we were just saying with Calgary and Eric, and you don't have to, by the way, it is me. Good call. Yeah, he probably didn't sleep much, but you're going on momentum. I've been there. All his dads have been there. You don't need sleep when you had a baby. I don't know. That's a good question, right? Is Calgary in the same boat where you don't want to be fooled by the play on the ice and kind of derail from your rebuild and kind of go off track and be fooled by what you've seen so far? I think you see where you're at the deadline. Like if they're in it, if they're within 5 points of a wild card spot at the deadline, then yeah, add a piece. Don't go nuts. Don't get like some guy where you're going to have to give up a bunch of picks and prospects, but add a valuable piece. Bring in a vet that can help. I have no problem with that, but just wait it out until then. I wouldn't do it yet. All right, next question. Brodeur, HOF. Devils Markstrom is, remember I told you? Jake Allen. Go ride Jake Allen. Markstrom is at .830 save percentage, 17 goals against in 4 games. He's one of the worst in playing the puck outside the blue paint. If only New Jersey employed the greatest ever puck-playing goalie that could help him. They do. Don't you know that? Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's struggling. I don't know what they do with that situation, but for now, I mean, if they want to keep competing for their division and a high seed, which I think they can earn, I would ride Jake Allen. Excuse me. Sorry, I get the hiccups here. Next question. Ethan Russell. What's up, Ethan? I think Necas fits McKinnon's style of play better. Both are very fast players. They also got Jack Drury, very underrated part of that trade. Jimmy, do you think McKinnon's been better since Necas' addition? I don't think he was per se bad before that, Ethan, but I think he's been just as good. Like, I think he's just Nathan McKinnon. I mean, I don't know. Like, is there I don't mean, no offense to you. I just can't remember a stretch where with Rantanen, where he was Nathan McKinnon like he was really in a slump. If there was, let me know off air or whatever, and I'll credit you. But like, I don't think he's changed McKinnon that much, but I definitely think McKinnon's helped him, and I think you're right. They're a great combination. All right, next question. Big guy dash F5Y. Could a key trade turn around Calgary season? No, big guy, I don't know if you just turned in, but I mean, as Eric Francis, who's very tied in with the Flames, said, don't expect any big trades there in terms of ads. They're not looking to make the playoffs this year. I mean, they kind of are what they are, and they're in a reset transition, whatever you want to call it. Next question. Narig Haviters 141. Hey Jimmy, I know we've heard about Bruins ownership not going for a rebuild, but if you were in charge, knowing what you know about the team, would you go full rebuild or do you keep key pieces? I'd go full rebuild. And everybody has a different definition of that. I'll give you an example of what I would do. Okay. And I'm proud, and I'm not saying I want this to happen because I love him. I think he's one of the best players in the NHL right now. I think there's been I think if the Bruins made the playoffs last year, if they didn't just, blow it up at the deadline and they somehow stayed in it, I think David Pastrnak would have been a Hart Trophy candidate. He would have been in my top 3. I had him in my top 5, even though they didn't make the playoffs. That's how valuable he is to this team. That being said, if you're going to blow it up, he's your best chip to do it. What can you get for him on the market, whether it's in season or next summer? What can you get? It's something to think about. And, how long does he want to spend his prime in a rebuild? Right? I think McAvoy's value has gone down. Swayman could be a piece because his no trade doesn't kick in until July 1st, I believe. He could be a piece. I want to make sure on that on the puck. Let me check that out for a second. I want to make sure I got that great. But, I mean, I'm thinking, it's tough to say, but I think that would be the guy I look at moving. And then you just really rebuild. You stock up picks or prospects. Like we were saying with Calgary, imagine getting 3 first-round picks in this upcoming draft. I mean, Pierre McGuire on this show has said it could be the best draft since 2003, right? So imagine that. Yeah, so Swayman's no movement, full no movement, kicks in on July 1st, July 26th. So that might be the piece there too. Who knows? But I would rebuild, but I don't think it's going to happen. All right, next question. Hey, Jimmy in chat room, is Lafreniere a bust or just a dude that needs a new environment? I think it's the latter, A to Z me, and I feel bad calling any guy a bust. It takes a lot for me to say that. Like, is he Alexander Daigle part 2? I'm showing my age here. No, I don't think he's that or he will ever be that. I just think he needs a change of scenery. I really do. And I think the other thing too is I think he was drafted too high. Like, is he? And so people say, well, then he's a bust. Well, that's not his fault, right? He didn't pick to be number 1. I still think he's a top 10 draft pick. I just think maybe he was too high. And you got to remember, he was drafted in 2020 when we were in the heart of COVID, where people weren't going in person to see players play. They were going off video. They were going off word of mouth, scouting reports by phone or Zoom, and they were going off analytics. The eye test matters. Next question. Max rates. Eichel 6-1 for MVP or Demidov 3-1 for Calder. Which future bet do you prefer? I'm still surprised Eichel's at 6-1. I would grab that in a heartbeat. I do think Demidov could compete for the Calder, but get all over that Eichel right now. You're lucky if it's positive value by the end of the season, in my opinion. All right, next question. Perlo Wisdom. Do you think Mathew Barzal could be available if he is willing to waive? Yes. I think that's a situation to watch. I know I said don't make a big deal out of things. It's just they're following their standards. They got to bench, whether it's a 4th-line guy or a superstar. You got to hold everybody to the same standards. I just feel like there's something weird going on there with him. That's just my gut feeling. I'm not reporting that like it's a fact or I'm saying sources told me. I'm just watching from afar. Been keeping an eye on that since the Bruins passed on him. There's something off. All right, next question. Ethan Russell, do you think Carolina is a front runner for Rasmus Andersson? Yeah, I think he would be a great fit there. I kind of like their defense a little better, but they've had some injuries. But yeah, Ethan, I think that's a good target for them. I think they're looking for a center. I think if Kadri becomes available, they could be in on him. So we'll see. My thing is maybe they trade for an Andersson and they trade one away, if you know what I mean. All right, next question. Randy Workman, I think the biggest asset the Flames have is Blake Coleman. I'm sorry, Randy, I saw your question after. What are your thoughts? The biggest asset, Blake Coleman. No, I would say if Kadri is full out available, he's the biggest asset, Randy, just because of the demand for 2C. This is the 2C market ever since July 1st. So he's the biggest asset. Then I think it's Andersson, and then I'd put Coleman there, slot him in 3rd. All right, next question. Jimmy, when will the Bruins retire Bergeron's jersey number? Well, they got Chara coming up this January. I believe it's the 16th, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say it's against the Kraken. Double check that. I think that's Bergeron probably next year, I would imagine. So, yeah, they'll do Chara this year and Bergeron next year. That would be my guess. All right, next question. Puck battle. What's the plan in Boston for Poitras? Let him keep developing. However, I do think, we've been hearing a lot of buzz now. There was a report from Pierre LeBrun that the Bruins are actually want to extend Pavel Zacha. I don't know if they get a right trade offer for him. I still think Pavel Zacha is gone by the deadline. I think that was just trying to quell the rumors around him, help the player out, let him know how valuable you think he is. But you know what? He's probably more valuable to you on the trade market, off your team than on it, because he can get you a good haul. Like if you hold out in this 2C market, right, and you let Kadri go, who's the next best option? Him. So think of the demand you can get. Kadri falls off and he gets moved. You've got the best 2C that everyone's going to want. So let's see what happens there. That being said, if that happens and they move him out, and if they move Middlestat, which I think will happen, I think the plan is for in the end of the year, by the end of this season, let's say for the final whatever games you have after the trade deadline, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if up the middle you've got Elias Lindholm, James Higgins, and Mathew Barzal as your 1, 2, 3. They'll just filter in the youth right up the middle there. So that's something to keep an eye on. All right, next question. Ethan Russell. Jimmy, do you know if Lowry is playing tonight? Do you think he should be in the lineup tonight, or do you think he should be scratched again? I'm pretty sure he's in. Let me double check. I was checking Belle Frazier, who does an awesome job. She's now working as a multimedia producer for the Bruins. She was covering Mammoth last year. Let's see. He's in. He's on the third pairing with Yokihara on the right. All right, next question. Oh, and if I think he should be out, I think he should sit out a few games, but I'd rather him in tonight than against the Carolina Hurricanes. Maybe he goes upstairs again. All right, Seamoke. Pierre, who has been the biggest surprise? Will it be me? Who's been the biggest surprise on the Wings so far to start the year? I still think they need to add some depth on the blue line to help them get into the playoffs. I know he had a bad last start, but up until that point, Cam Talbot. Like Cam Talbot's like Alex Lyon in Buffalo, like two guys. Yeah, they're backups on a contender, right? I mean, they are what they are. But they stole some games for their respective teams in the early going here for the Sabres and the Red Wings, respectively. So I'd say him. I think I don't want to say like be negative on a negative surprise. What's going on with Casper? 1 goal, no assists. That's like they got to get him going there. So, I was saying to my friend Mark and Amika earlier, we're talking about Nazem Kadri. I wonder if the Red Wings get interested in him. They got a ton of prospects to offer Calgary, right? Look at their defensive prospects they could offer him. Can you imagine if you could, okay, so Casper's struggling a little with developing. Well, wouldn't he be better suited then in the 3C, and then you slide Kadri in between him and Larkin? That's a good 1, 2, 3 punch. So, yeah, I think they got to get Casper going. That's a big one. All right, what do we got? Charlie Coyle is a UFA at the end of the season. Will Boston make a run at him in July? Is he a UFA? I thought he was multi-year. I don't think they're going back that route. I think that's it for the Bruins and Charlie Coyle. And that's nothing against the player. I think it was just, they decided it was time to, yeah, you're right. He is a UFA. 1-year deal at 5.2. I think some team could pick him up, though. Though he does have a modified no trade, but only 3-team no trade list. Oh no, he's got a full no move. Okay, interesting. Yeah, he's a guy to keep an eye on for sure, but I think Columbus is going to be in it. I don't think they're going to be moving Charlie Coyle at the deadline at least. We'll see what happens. All right, next question. Late game for the East Coast, but Devils at Sharks. Jack Hughes and Macklin Celebrini both heating up. Are we seeing a potential Olympic face-off preview? Potentially, and I love that game. That's a good over game, guys, if you want to take it. Lots of good prop availability in that. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring. I like San Jose and as an underdog in that game too. But yeah, I think that's going to be a fun game to watch, and potentially you could see them facing off against each other in the Olympics. All right, what do we got? Randy Workman, greatest D-man outside of Bobby Orr. Obvious one. Oof. Nicholas Lidstrom. I was a big Ray Bork fan, but Nicholas Lidstrom. All right. What do we got? Is that it? Yeah, we're done. We're done. And I just want to double check something on when I was talking about Detroit there. I want to make sure. Yeah. Yeah, so Casper's got 1 goal. All right. So, yeah, he's a guy that's got to get going. Maybe if they could get somebody to play the 2C and move him down a bit, he's just a little more comfortable. Who knows? Hey, listen, everyone. I appreciate all the questions. Great stuff. I know Pierre says hello to everyone out there, and he appreciates you so much, and he'll be back with me on Monday. Again, reminder, we are not on the air tomorrow. We'll be back Monday. Big thanks to Shane working the board up there. Thanks to everyone watching and listening, and to everyone out there. If you got kids, have a great Halloween. Enjoy it. Stay safe. And even if you're an adult and you like to still have fun at Halloween, there's nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't be dressing up. So I'll be out trick-or-treating with my daughter and my 2-year-old niece and my sister and her husband. Looking forward to that. So everybody have a great Halloween out there. Enjoy the hockey this weekend, and we'll talk to you back here on Monday on the iTest on the Sick Podcast Network.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Eye Test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.